Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of the Lower Time Podcast. I am once again your humble host, joined by my co-host.
Your boy, Zach.
Hello, everybody watching at home. If you're watching this on the YouTube, we have finally got a camera, and now we have with a mic, and we have opinions.
And we're here.
And we are here. Yes, this is going to be our first official recorded video.
Yes.
Everything else is me just copying and pasting everything together and hoping it makes sense. So just an update before we start this episode. We have a YouTube channel at Lower Time Podcast, Facebook, Lower Time Podcast, and Instagram at Lower Time Pod. We are also on this page called Good Pods, which the Good Pods describes himself, this isn't an advertisement, as the Goodreads of podcasts. So if that's another place you want to check us out and kind of share us there to kind of get the people going, please do so. And then we're on X.
Yes.
As of course, where you get to hear my thoughts. I speak for both of us, so
Into the darkness.
into the darkness. That being said, today I'm going to be running a nice little episode of a book I have talked about many a times before, and maybe Zach might remember.
Oh.
It is the book that is called The Iron Widow.
Oh, yes.
I have talked about this book very much, and I love this book. I think it's fantastic.
Oh, I've actually really wanted to hear about this.
Oh, I very much enjoyed this book. So just as a preface, it is heavily it is based off of Chinese history and Chinese mythology. So please forgive my pronunciation. I will do the best that I can.
Chinese words are hard.
Yes. So Iron Widow is a book that was written, released in 2021.
Yeah.
It is considered a young adult, which I've always kind of wondered. Does young adult mean like middle school, or is it like middle school to high school, or is it like high school to like 25?
I think it's high school to 25.
Okay, because there's some stuff that's in here that you go,
I think
ooh.
that's young adult.
Okay. We're going to say that because just as a preface, there are some talks of terrible things in this story. It is a story about medieval China, and they did some pretty not okay things to women.
No, believe it or not.
No, they did not. So there are talks of sexual violence, domestic abuse, things of that nature. So if this doesn't kind of fit your style, obviously, if it does, woo. But no, so just so everybody is aware of that. So it is written by a woman named Xiran Jay Zhao. She got really famous on TikTok. That's what she started off as. She commentated on the live action Mulan series movie because she is of Chinese heritage herself.
Yeah.
And really talks about they go by gender neutral pronouns, but they talk a lot about they have a Chinese background and talk a lot about the history of China and things of that nature. And they commentated on like how Mulan the live action didn't get some of the stuff right, which is true. I feel like a lot of people thought it was they went like
Mulan is one of my favorite Disney. It is my favorite Disney movie.
Mm-hmm.
And when I watched the live action,
how disappointed were you?
Going, I didn't really know. I was like, "Where's Mushu?
Where's
the singing?
Where's the lucky cricket?
Where's the lucky?" It took me a while. I was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, no, it wasn't good.
No, it was not. It was not Mulan.
No, it wasn't, and I don't know if they tried to do something different. And like,
I just wanted them to sing. Like, listen.
No, they did not.
Banger of a song.
It is, and it's terrible that they didn't do that in any way, shape, or form. Well, surprisingly enough, this book was written as a response to another thing that didn't end the best way. So this story is about the first and only female emperor of China, named Wu Zetian. It is set in a futuristic reinterpretation of ancient China. Wu Zetian ruled around the 600s.
Okay.
In history, and again is the only female emperor to have ever existed in China.
To be honest, I didn't even know they had a female empress.
Yeah, look at we're learning so much today. Yay! But yeah, so the reason this is really fun for me too is because they've Zhao has talked about online that this was heavily inspired by anime.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and they had me. We love anime. And yeah, so this book was inspired by several anime, actually. It was inspired by like a smorgasbord, but Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh!
Digimon. Shout out to David. Somebody get David. And Attack on Titan, actually. And then they also said that their story was partly written because they were disappointed with the direction that the anime Darling in the Franxx took. And so this is their like, no, this is how it could be better.
Not to really get into it. You like Darling in the Franxx, right?
If we had watched Darling in the Franxx up to episode like 15, I think, and ended it there, I'd have been happy. They have this one episode in the middle that, every plot line you wished would come to a good ending does.
Oh, and
you're like, okay, cool, because then it turns into, so big spoilers for Darling in the Franxx. It turns into like this like alien thing.
They always do.
They always turn it. Studio Trigger loves their. It's an alien at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So they kind of do that, and it sucks because the story was really about like high school kids, like pubescent teenagers, like learning about them, because it's all a metaphor for sex.
Yeah.
It really is, because like so it's all they're called Franks.
Yeah.
Are piloted by a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
And they are given the titles of the reproductive parts of a flower. So a pistil, Pistil, and a stamen, Stamen.
Okay.
And so it turns into this like alien thing, and they like go off into space, and you're like, what are we doing?
They always have to.
Because it was about them like discovering themselves, and like they discover, or you kind of know as the watcher that they're like being hormonally controlled.
Yeah.
So they don't have like sexual desire or urges.
Yeah.
And so they're fighting in the ruins of this like of Earth, and they find these books of like, oh, babies, and like, where do babies come from? And they're like, well, why do I not have these urges?
Right.
So one pairing does actually end up having sex and having like a child, and it's very much just like, I'm hormonal, what's happening to me?
Yeah.
And so like the mechs were like a metaphor, and then it like went off the reservation, so to speak. Yeah, it literally went off into space.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we doing? So I also agree
that
with Zhao that it wasn't the best ending.
Yeah.
And so I think I heard them say that on their TikToks and stuff, and I was like, well, I got to read this book now.
How would you have done a better job?
And how would I have?
No.
So Iron Widow is a New York Times bestseller. It has remained as of July 2022. It had remained for 34 weeks. It won a few awards, and there's a second book. Big spoilers. That is coming out this year, actually,
nice.
In April. So I'm actually really excited about it. And I'm genuinely, I guess it kind of is a testament to the times, because this book is written very much as I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar kind of story. This lady, the Wu Zetian, she's scary. Those guys, like, if people were scared about like the Little Mermaid and like or like those other like the Disney princesses are strong. This book is not for you. No, it is not, because it is about she goes through some shit in this book, and the men don't like it. The men will not like it.
They won't.
But it is really fun if you like mecha as I do, and you like anime. Really give it like, it has like Pacific Rim vibes. It's very
like Pacific Rim.
Yeah. It's very fun. You're gonna be like, I watched this anime before.
Yeah.
But it is very fun. So again, obviously we're not experts in Chinese history. So Zhao said in a interview with Publishers Weekly that there's no other woman in Chinese history who had a rise through their harem, because it was very common to have harems.
Right.
As iconic as hers. It's been incredibly fun to reimagine her as instead a teenage peasant girl in an intensely misogynistic world who suddenly gains access to giant fighter mechs. How would she change the world? Which sounds fun. It is very fun. So it also won an award for best book for young readers, which is interesting. And so, like I said, there is talks of stuff because of like sexual violence and things like that, because women were not treated with respect back then.
No.
And as always, we like to go into the age-old Goodreads?
God, I hate Goodreads.
But we can't look away.
I don't hate. I love and hate Goodreads in equal measure.
It's true. It's fair. Yeah. So, we have some reviews. I found some. So as of 70 out of 75,000 ratings, 16,765 reviews as a 4.09.
That's good.
Goodreads. That's
good.
If you can
go for a 4. That's good.
There are 33,000 5-star reviews and 1,900 1-star reviews. And I will read some of those to the people today. I'm gonna read. I always go both extremes.
You have to.
So here, I'm trying to read ones that don't have super big spoilers in them. And a lot of it, I think that's the other thing I hate about Goodreads, is that everybody's like, no, this is the plot. And I'm like, no, don't tell me the plot.
No, just summarize.
Here's one for all the people who, 5 stars. A triumphant sucker punch to the patriarchy. I read it in a couple sittings and can't wait for the sequel. This one, another 5-star by Cindy. All the stars in the world. This book might be everything I've ever wanted in a YA book, in all caps, ever. I always tend to be annoyed when books promise me darkness and bloodshed but fail to deliver. This book, on the other hand, lives up to its promises. Zetian is a determined, fierce young woman with a vendetta. She is not tied down by what society deems as appropriate or the morals and shame they try to force upon her. They do! Oh, it's not fun.
No.
For she's fighting the devil. For all their attempts to oppress her, they only make her more determined to break free. And, they do. So epically brutal and wonderful. Which, it really, not many times, right, when you, especially with YA books, if you go to the Barnes and Noble section, you go and it's like, YA books, and you read them and it's like, super, like, cool characters, and then she met a boy, or then he met a girl, and or they met, you know what I mean? Like, that's the traditional. And you go, well...
Yeah, it's the framework to what the stories usually fit.
And you go, damn it, I want to know why they're an assassin and killing people at night. No.
Give me a sad One Piece backstory.
Oh, there you go. 1 star. Okay, this was actually as of November 2023. Okay, I need to preface this by saying I enthusiastically requested this arc because Xiran is one of my all-time favorite influencers. Their commentary videos, etc. I love them, but this book is bad. TLDR, it's a feminist story, sci-fi alt history, Chinese-inspired robots, and Chinese history inspired and big robots. If I could describe this book in any way, it would be blunt and thoughtless. The book itself, the tagline is Pacific Rim meets The Handmaid's Tale. It's true. Zetian is a young girl who offers her up to pilot a mech, and intends on getting revenge. And then it's like a lot of plot stuff, so I can't, like, I'm trying to put it all together. This person complained about world building, and it's like, because they found such common tropes. Yeah, you don't really need to understand.
You kind of get it.
Yeah, and so and like the why doesn't matter. Like, why is this character doing this and all this stuff? And I'm like, it's pretty clear
why they're doing it.
This woman yelled rampage and is gonna be on that rampage. So usually that kind of what it is. So one person's entire review was hidden because of spoilers. This lady's upset. Here we go. This person's upset. I'm upset that a book marketed as a feminist breakthrough only portrays feminism as something extremely violent, which is actually a harmful stereotype that this book, which prides itself on breaking stereotypes, perpetuates. It's supposed to be the revolutionary feminist book, but it just preserves misogynistic ideas under the guise of being empowering. Now, I guess you can make that argument, but for me, hearing it, it's someone who goes, it's very much, for lack of a better example, the Black Panther issue, right? Yeah. So in the first Black Panther, Killmonger's like, well, now I have power. I'm going to get back at the people who kept me down. Yeah. That's kind of her storyline. Yeah. Is, I can get back at these fuckers who treat us like shit.
And now I will kill everybody.
And I have a robot.
Yeah. And my God, I can punch you.
And I'm going to kill all of you. So that's kind of where it's at. Take it with a grain of salt. I do think it's, like I said, for some people, it might be really like, whoa, like this is really aggressively feminine. Because she's very like, I don't like men are like assholes and stuff like that. And you got to take it in the context of what? the story is
Right.
being told. This is a girl who's out for revenge,
Right.
which I will explain why soon. And when you get angry, you kind of think about those things.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like look at every Quentin Tarantino movie.
History is painted by people getting very mad at a certain,
Period of time.
and about a certain type of people.
I have a gun or I have thoughts.
Exactly.
And I will do something about it.
That's exactly what it is.
Wow. So we're gonna hear it. So everybody take a seat, turn on your TVs, and watch Wu Zetian fight these alien creatures known as the Hundun, and try to save Huasha, which is the translation of China. That's how you pronounce it. So our setting takes place. The nation of Huasha, a futuristic reimagining of medieval China, is constantly under attack by alien creatures, as I said, known as Hunduns. There is this governing council called the Heavenly Council.
Okay.
And they have essentially built these like Attack on Titan, Pacific Rim walls to keep the bad monsters out. It's very... If you watch Pacific Rim, that's where we're at. Okay. With a shadowy council.
I'm there.
It's easy. It's easy to follow there. There was a devastating attack that humanity was able to recover from. What humanity then does is they take the bodies of these giant aliens and they harvest them, and they're able to create these giant mechs known as Chrysalises.
Okay.
And so a big thing, so they kind of like sort everybody into the 5 classic Asian elements. So earth, water, fire, metal, and wind? Earth. It's earth, yeah. So those are the 5 elements. And so like...
That's funky, but...
yeah. Chrysalises are piloted by young men and women.
Yeah.
There's tandem riding that possess high levels of spirit pressure.
Okay.
Or chi.
Okay.
So, bleach, spirit pressure, energy power. That's all you need to know.
It's funny being an anime. I just go, sure, spirit pressure.
Okay, we're there. Yeah. So it's the 5 elements, and so based off of the 5 elements, I'm not an expert in those. That determines their compatibility. Yeah. So like fire and water don't go well together, but I think like fire and metal go well together. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but yeah. The male pilots are treated like celebrities by the media. Okay. And the adoring public. So they like send cameras out and they like film these giant mech fights. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And male pilots rely on concubines that are female pilots who supply them with additional chi, but 99% of the time it kills the female pilot. Yeah.
I see where we're going.
No, it's not good. So every time a woman gets into one of these mechs, the odds of them dying are extremely high. Gotcha. Because the men will siphon, like, no, it's not just like hey, give me your energy. It's no, I need this. Yeah. And then the woman dies, and they like latch in like an Evangelion, like how they plug in and stuff like that.
The batteries they keep. Yeah.
There are male and female pairings, but that don't risk the woman dying. Okay. And those are known as balanced matches, so they balance each other. But are rare and are essentially like celebrity marriages. Okay. The Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner of our times. Okay, yeah. Now, there are stories that there was the strongest male pilot in history was this emperor known as Qin Sheng. Okay. Forgive me if I got it wrong. It is believed that he is frozen in stasis somewhere. Because he had some kind of illness that couldn't be cured. So he froze himself essentially. His chrysalis is known as the Yellow Dragon, and the idea is that he was like so powerful that like he could kind of pilot alone. Is kind of what everybody's thinking. Sadly, they can't find his chrysalis because the location was lost to the Hunduns themselves. They took over, so we're like getting beaten back constantly.
Right. Are these aliens intelligent, or are they like?
They don't. They just think that they just like show up, kind of like Titans. They just show up, or like the kaiju,
or like the aliens from Starship Troopers. They just kind of like
are here.
They're just here.
So Wu Zetian, our story begins with her. She is enlisting as a concubine to avenge her older sister. That is where we're at. Her older sister died after being enlisted, but she mysteriously died. So she's like, no, I think that they murdered my sister. I have vengeance. And so you find out also is that in ancient China and most medieval societies, the women were only kind of good for being married off.
Yeah.
Or seeking some kind of financial value out of them. This is the case with her family. Her family is sold off both of their daughters because it gives them money.
Right.
And so she's like, oh, this is a woman who's very angry. She's like, oh, my parents, like, she's like, God, like, I will get revenge against them one day. Yeah. They will taste my fury.
And you!
Because she's like, they don't care that my sister's dead.
Right.
They're just like, well, we got paid. And you're like, oh, she's like, we're not talking about this. Another thing too, they talk about that is pretty wild that we did as a society, just humans, she is a product of feet binding.
Oh yeah.
If anybody doesn't know, at a young age, they bind the feet. They tie like the feet together, or they'll bind them with cord to misshapen the feet, and it's bad.
Yeah.
It is considered like this weird cultural thing. That sounded bad. Weird cultural. It was considered to be a cultural honor. Like it's like women are attractive with bad feet. And
it probably made a lot more sense a bajillion years ago.
Oh, but she talks about what it's like, and you go, "Fuck this."
Yeah, I know.
Oh, she talks about like because her feet are all like blistered and pussy and and decaying.
Yeah.
And you just go, "What are we doing? What?
Yeah.
Wow." We're all kind of psycho.
It was like that one, or like the really long neck.
Yeah, the neck thing,
the neck stretch, and the
So she'll be like angry, and then she's like, my feet hurt, and I'm angrier. She's like, it's not fun here. So there is a young child, who is a wealthy childhood friend. His name is Gao Yiji, and he is aggressively in love with her.
Oh, okay.
And she is aggressively in love with him. And he goes, I can take you away from here. We can go away, and you'll never have to worry about this ever again. And she goes, no, I want to rampage.
Oh.
I will find him and I will kill him. And you go, wow. And so she resolves it. And she's like, this is a one-way road for me. I'll die.
Yeah.
I'll kill him. I'm a woman. They're going to kill me. But middle fingers in the air. This is fuck the patriarchy.
That's a lot of resolve.
Oh.
I don't know if I could have that much resolve.
She's a shonen character. She's like, no, I will.
This is it.
This is my sea of dreams.
Sea of dreams.
And so she is kind of working her. So she gets there, and it's very like militaristic, but they're treated very well. So like, hey, like you're like the 10th concubine.
Yeah.
He has like his favorites, and then there's you, but you can pilot with him. But he gets more because he's super rich and popular, and stuff like that. Her sister's co-pilot is a person named Yang Guang.
Okay.
And so she's kind of like, I gotta work my way up to like be, because like basically like they're batteries. You're right.
Yeah.
So he'll like use one, they die. Next, use the next one. And so she's like, okay, well I gotta position myself to like get in there.
Right.
And I'm gonna get in there.
When they say concubines, right? Is this like
it's the whole kit. It's the whole kit and caboodle. Okay. Yes. Yeah, no, it's not good. She is not good. You also kind of are hinted at that he's not the nicest. No. He doesn't like when his dinner's cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, like I just need proof. I need proof, and I'll fucking kill him.
Oh, I've got a Polaroid camera.
And so eventually she works her way up, and there's an attack happening. And so what's really fun is that if you know anything about Chinese mythology, they're all kind of like, there's like black tortoise, white tiger, crimson, like I think it's crimson phoenix.
Yeah.
So that's what all the mechs are designed after.
Oh, that's sick.
And so there's multiple forms because mechs. So there's like the base form where it looks like a turtle, and then there's like the next level, and it's like a mech, but it's not like a Gurren Lagann mech.
Yeah.
And then if you're a truly balanced pair, you can bring out the maximum ability.
Power.
And that's when like my jewel will pierce the sky. And it becomes this like super cool like super Megazord thing.
Yeah.
And she has pictures. If you go on to Xiran Jay Zhao's website, they have pictures of what the mechs and stuff would look like.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, which is fun because not a lot of time they don't really give illustrations to that kind of thing. So when you sync, much like in most mech anime and Pacific Rim, you merge. Oh, he did it! He killed her.
Oh, he killed her sister.
He killed her sister, and she's like, okay.
So fucker, yeah.
And so the thing about it is that you kind of enter this like parallel, like you can sense each other's life force.
Okay.
And so she's kind of like in this state of like force Jedi-ness. I can sense him. He can sense me. I can see his thoughts.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, I'm going to hide that. I'm going to kill him.
Yeah, oh, that's the hard part.
Oh, wait, you son of a bitch. And so he's like, they're fighting and stuff like that. And so he's like, no, I need more energy. And so he begins to just kind of siphon. She's like, I can feel him tugging on my life force. And then she's like, no. I'm fighting back. So then she like twists it and is able to like use her life force to absorb his. And then she kills him.
Already?
She goes like, this is my sister, you son of a bitch. The very Inigo Montoya, like, I want my sister back. And so, so she just siphons all of his chi away.
And he dies.
And he dies.
Big.
And they go, wow, you did it, because they can't see inside.
Right.
So he like she essentially like ate his consciousness.
Yeah.
Like for lack of it, like just like
yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna make a statement. Oh, it's the most gangster shit ever. So what she does is she unhooks him from the machine.
Yeah.
And she's like, this society uses women, and he's been abusing all of us, and like I was gonna be next. No more.
Yeah.
So she like carries his body out, like the mech unhatches.
Yeah.
And she just throws him on the ground.
Oh shit.
And everybody's like, what? And everybody's like, whoa. And so she looks at the cameras and goes, this is my name. Like, get ready. She's like, I'm your nightmare. And then everybody goes, what do we do? She's like, this is your hell.
Everyone's like, do we intervene?
She's that Keith David. Welcome to hell, motherfucker. And so she's like, I run it now. What are you gonna do? I can pilot this. And then you find out that she had piloted it by herself.
Oh, that's
and they're
big,
like,
yeah.
And they're like, fuck, we can't kill her.
Oh, it's Shinji.
But they basically just do the classic, like, we'll kill you. I swear to God, we will. And so she is branded as dangerous, and then becomes known as the Iron Widow.
It's a great name.
It is
Maybe we should stop giving criminals these amazing names.
And now they discover that her spirit pressure registers at extraordinarily high levels. They then go, hey, we need pilots. But she ends up, so she is everybody looks at her like the boogeyman.
Yeah.
But then she becomes conscripted. They're like, no, we need you for the army.
Yeah.
And she's like, I will destroy the system as it stands.
Yeah.
Along the way, her childhood friend, Gao Yiji, his father is like a big financial supporter of the mechs, of the Chrysalises, and so he asks to kind of be her like partner, not pilot, but like the looking at the stats, and like
the person in the anime who yells, "You need to hurry!"
The man in the chair, that's what it's called, the man in the chair, and he's like, "Oh, look, we can like, hey,
we can still be together,"
and she's like, "No, I will destroy everybody."
Whoa!
And so not only that, but they pair her with the strongest male pilot, who is a conscripted criminal named Li Shimin. And Li Shimin is like this weird, he's like this giant muscle man.
Yeah.
But like wears glasses.
Okay.
He has like bad eyesight. He's mortal. And they get in the pilot, get in the robot Shinji, and they discover that they're a balanced match. They're a chi
match, yeah.
And so they end up in the Crimson Phoenix mech.
Sick.
Oh yeah, and it's like the most powerful one, and it's the only one that he could pilot, and he never had a partner. So they would just feed him like women.
Yeah.
And that sounds really bad. And then you discover he has an alcohol problem. And so they begin to kind of communicate through this match, right?
Yeah.
And so they begin to get to know each other. They can look, and it's the classic enter Lion King montage.
Yeah.
Can you feel the love tonight's happening?
They're figuring it out.
Along the way, she's like, I'm going to kill everybody. Like, this system will die. And Zetian discovers that Ximin is actually like he's a nice person.
Yeah.
Who is a gentle artist who and there was a girl that he liked, and bad things happened to that girl.
Oh.
He was murdered for patricide,
Okay.
and whatever the term is for murdering your whole family, because they did Game of Thrones things to this poor young girl, and he went, I don't like that.
I like that one bit.
I'm gonna solve that problem, and then murdered his whole family.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's fair. And so you discover that he has a crippling addiction to alcohol, and it fucks up their like ability to connect sometimes. And the reason why is because the army force feeds him alcohol.
Oh, okay.
To keep him in control.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just terrible.
They're monsters.
Oh, son of a bitch. And so because they're a balanced match, they're like, no, they're in love and it's beautiful, right? So they're constantly having to be like
a couple on like.
So they have, and then it turns into like Game of Thrones, not Game of Thrones, Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Like
they parade them around. And...
Yeah. Hey. Oh, she's a psycho, but she's saving.
But he's a psycho too.
Oh, but they're gonna save us all from the monsters at the gate, and they do end up falling in love. So where they were at, they were like on the borderlands, and they were like kind of like training out there and like serving as like a point defense. For them, and they end up getting relocated back to the capital. I was a little early in the story, so Yuji finds out that her first love interest finds out that they're coming back, and he uses his influence to be their handler.
Yeah.
And to kind of keep an eye on her to make sure she doesn't just like whoa, and then like she no longer becomes useful, and they kill her.
And they kill her.
And so Yuji is like, look, I understand that, like, you know, if you love him, that's great. I'll help you because it's for the good of the people. Yeah. And then plot twist.
Oh.
They become a polyamorous couple.
Oh, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. So Yuji and Zetian, they tell each other that they love each other. And she's like, but I also love the other guy. And he's like, that's fine.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, I was reading this story on the way to my friend's wedding. And my friend Emmett was in the car with me, and I went. Oh, he was driving. And I went, "Oh shit!
Oh shit! Look at that!
Yeah, good for them."
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they kind of like do this weird triple thing. They all like can give each other energy and stuff like that, and all the pilots are bad. At one point, they meet this family, so like there's another balanced match.
Yeah.
And so they like she kind of gets to know her. She's like, you find out that like they were being used, and so like the pilots of the Black Tortoise, and they were like being told to keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
And eventually like they're like holding them hostage, and they're like, no, you're like a threat. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Also, so it's Ma Zhujing and Zhu Yuanzhang.
Okay.
They are the male and female pilots of the Black Tortoise Chrysalis. And Zhu Ying is initially friendly towards Zetian, but and then Yuanzhang is openly hostile towards, because they are of a different heritage. They are Rongdi, which is a different ethnic group in China.
Yeah.
And as we know, if you're different, fuck you.
Oh, we don't like things that are different.
So also Li Shimin is known as the Iron Demon.
Oh, like that?
And he is half Rongdi. Rongdi, yes. And so a lot of people don't like him because they know that he's half. And all that stuff. So they're polyamorous. That was kind of wild. That never really happens.
No, it never does.
That wasn't in Darling in the Franxx.
No.
So they become this like team. They become like Katniss and Peeta and like.
Yeah.
And then there's a giant battle. And so basically they fight like kind of like the kaiju, right? In Pacific. Like there's levels, and they end up fighting this giant one, and they're like, "Fuck, what do we do?" And so Yuji is actually able to help. He's, instead of just being that, he's able to like give them their energy, and they're able to defeat this Mastem Hundun, because he's able to get in with them, and because, like through their love, it creates it stronger. Mm-hmm. And they noticed that the Chrysalises, like she notices this like tug on her with both of them being in it, and she's like, "That's strange. That like they're both siphoning off from me really hard, like aggressively." And so they think that the piloting system is biased towards male pilots.
Right.
So they get this high-ranking official and they torture him. You're gonna tell us what we want to know. Yeah. And he confesses through. They do some they break his knees and stuff like that. But they confess that girls are just as likely, and some traditionally have higher spiritual pressure than boys do.
Yeah.
But the system is rigged to make sure that the male pilot will always survive. Why? Because in this world, men are better. I don't know.
You. That's why.
So they're like, oh fuck. So they're like, well, how do we beat the system? And that's the big question now. They're trying to kind of figure it out, and they really it's very the classic well, we have to move up. Yeah. Right, if we keep winning, if we keep doing stuff, we'll get closer and closer and closer
to the very end, very end of it.
And then we'll be able to flip the system or destroy it, and things like that. So because they've been leading these fights, they've been winning, and the army then kind of decides as a way to they're like, we're gonna make a push, right? In the military, and they're always like, oh, we're gonna send you on this mission, and you go, huh. So they go into the lost territory because they're trying to constantly get more territory, right? Attack on Titan. And this is when the Iron Tortoise Chrysalis turns on them. And by God, they've been bad guys the whole time because the government told them to do it because they were going to kill their kids.
Oh, that's fair.
And so during this fight, they actually get, because they get essentially jumped.
Yeah.
And they go, fuck, what do we do? Ximin ejects both Zetian and Yiji from the cockpit and proceeds to pilot the Chrysalis alone.
Oh.
And it kills him.
Oh.
He dies.
No.
And she goes, fuck, he's dead. And they go well, we had to do it. And she's like, I'll fucking kill you too. Oh, no.
You're on the list.
No, if you cross her, she's like, well.
Oh, you die.
I will hunt you. I'm coming, shocker. I will hunt you down to the ends of the earth. And so she goes, okay, we need to, but they're lost. So they are in the lost territory.
They're an alien bird.
Yes. And they're like, fuck, where we go? And so she's like, maybe we'll get lucky. And the Emperor's Qin Zheng, maybe we'll be able to find his Chrysalis and pilot it and get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Or let me rephrase that, get revenge.
Yeah. There is no getting out of here, yeah.
They're able to find these nomads. So you discover that it's not all lost.
Yeah.
There's been nomadic tribes that have lived in these lost territories for years.
Yeah.
But the classic, the government's hiding it, and these people are part of the Rongdi people. Yeah. They're the classic nomads. Oh, we survive.
They live in the cursed earth.
Yeah, we live in cursed earth. Exactly. And they're like, oh well, we know where it is. We found, but they're not as technologically. So they're like, yeah, we'll help you. Yeah. And so they go over there. And she's able to find him. They find the lost emperor, Qin Sheng, and she goes, hey, wake up, fucker. I have a proposition for you. She's like, we'll heal you, we'll cure your illness, but you have to let me pilot your dragon. And then we'll get out of here. Fair?
Sick.
And he goes, fuck it, I got whatever I got.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And she goes, okay. And so I think that's his thing too, is that he was able to he can meld with anybody. That was his thing. He was very he could just mix with people. And so she's like, but I'm gonna pilot myself because she has enough force energy she can do it.
She can do it herself. Just like he could.
Yeah, essentially. And so I have the yellow dragon now. And she defeats the evil Hundun who are there. And she goes, remember how I said I was going to come back? I'm back. Like the Undertaker sitting up. Oh, and she murders the fuck out of them. And I think she's some cold-blooded shit.
Yeah.
Because they were like, no, we have kids and stuff like that. She's like, well, you should have thought of that before you you fuck with me. And she rips them out of there.
Well, now they don't have a dad.
Oh, she kills them both.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I am your god.
Just rips them apart.
She's like, tough titty.
Oh, I'm going for your kid.
Oh, you bet I'm erasing the bloodline.
At the Royal Rumble.
And then she looks at the people.
No, again.
The country.
Yeah.
Waja and goes, you! And she does!
She blows up the country?
She fucking destroys the central command tower, then turns and like destroys the standing army, fucking cripples the standing army, raises the capital, destroys the central command tower where all the council of elders live. And then does the classic, like, the revolution will not be televised, and goes, oh, it's a lie.
Yeah.
The co-pilot system was meant to, like, oppress women. Women can just be as good at pilots as men and all this stuff.
Right.
And then she goes, I'm the empress now.
I've done it.
No, she goes, I'm the new ruler of Huasha. I am Empress Wu. And who's going to say anything about it? Because I have a giant fucking robot.
Let the first motherfucker stand up.
And yeah, she forces the surviving military and political powers to submit. It goes, you will all bow to me. Zetian then goes back to the lost territories, attempts to revive Shimin's body, but the Heavenly Council apparently was not in the command tower.
Yeah. And
they took his body.
Oh.
You discover then, so they're in this like cavern thing, and they're just kind of like, this is an alien. This is strange.
Yeah.
And you discover that there's a secret government document that was like in this area, and that Huasha is not on Earth. They are not on Earth. They've never been on Earth.
Oh,
they're a colony.
Oh.
And the Hunduns are the native species.
I like that. That's a good twist.
And they have been defending themselves from humans.
I like that a lot, actually.
And they go, fuck, what do we do? And then then she's like, fuck, we gotta tell the people. Like, the people need to know. They will rise up on the streets. Somebody called Zach De La Rocha.
Oh, he's playing already.
The voice of the voiceless will begin. But the Heavenly Council then, like, through, like, one of the computer screens that's in there, they go, like, hello? Like, the total
evil. Like,
Illuminati, and they go, we have your lover.
Oh, he's not dead.
No, we can revive him. You're gonna have to work for us, though.
Oh, that's good evil shit.
And that's where it ends.
Oh, that's really good.
That is where it ends.
That's a really good, like, season 1 ending.
So it's a 2-part book, or 2-parter. So this is number 1. This is, number 2 is titled The Heavenly Tyrant. Oh, that's fun. It is hinted on their Tumblr blog that the novel will be a partial Three Kingdoms retelling, which is, if anybody knows the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Dynasty Warriors is a very
historically accurate game.
And also loosely, because people aren't just fighting the devil like 1,000 people all at once and have superpowers. But yeah, that is the story of Wu Zetian and the tale of the Iron Widow for now.
I thoroughly enjoyed that. That's a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, there's a lot of political intrigue. It's a lot of just like, a lot of terrible things are being done to these women, and she's like, no, I said nay.
No, that was, when you say it's a lot of fun, but that sounds like, wow, that sounds great. No, that was really good. I wonder how it ends.
I'm excited to see. So I'll give you a list of the characters because it's a little bit more like in depth about them. So Wu Zetian, who is a peasant girl who becomes the titular Iron Widow. Oh, I'm sorry. Wasn't the what did I call it? Something Phoenix?
Yeah.
It was the Vermilion Bird.
The Vermilion Bird. Okay.
It's Phoenix. She seeks to topple the sexist society of Huasha after her sister is sacrificed as a pilot. Li Shimin, the Iron Demon. Wu Zetian's half-Rongdi co-pilot for the Vermilion Bird. Former death row inmate who was spared for having the strongest chi in the history of modern Huasha. He is an alcoholic and has a tendency to lash out to express his anger. However, he has a gentler and sensitive side underneath. They always do.
This is an anime cast if I've ever heard one.
Gao Yiji, Zetian and Shimin's love interest. The gentle and elegant fifth son of the biggest media mogul in the Huasha forms a polyamorous relationship with Zetian and Shimin, works to keep them alive against political forces who would have them disposed of. He is actually a composite character inspired by several of lovers of the historic Empress Wu. Gao Qiu, the richest media mogul in Huaxia and the father of Gao Yiji, who he has underground ties and is a corrupt businessman. Initially dismissive, he eventually agrees to exclusive media contracts to support Zetian and Shimin's public image. So they begin this PR, like they literally do the Hunger Games. Sima Yi, who is a senior strategist, and Zetian and Ximin's reluctant handler and trainer. They don't really take too much in the story.
Mm-hmm.
They're the classic like Ify and Woody Harrelson's. So where they get sent to in front of the Lost Terriers, known as the Suitang frontier, led by who the chief strategist is An Lushan. He treacherously seeks to remove Zetian and Ximin from battle by sending them on suicide missions, and is later interrogated by the two for his knowledge of the two-pilot Chrysalis system. Dugu Chieluo and Yang Jian, the female male pilots of the White Tiger Chrysalis, they are kind of like, because when she becomes an official like balanced match, because the other ones do.
Yeah.
So there's like lower levels. I think one's like a green dragon. It's like not like, but if they're named after the main like astrological like vermilion bird,
yeah,
and like azure dragon and stuff like that, those are like the big one. Those are the fun. That's Gypsy Danger and Eva 1. And so she's like tries to be friends with them.
Yeah,
and they're like, no,
but you
poor concubine girl and your half breed husband, and you're like, ooh. Ma Shuying and Zhu Yuanzhang are the female and male pilots, respectively, of the Black Tortoise.
Yeah,
and that they are the ones who turn on them. And she says, "There is no God. There is only me." Emperor Qinzheng, she is the legendary ruler of Huaxia and the pilot of the Emperor class Chrysalis, the Yellow Dragon. Qinzheng's spirit pressure is unmatched beyond any pilot in existence. He contracted a disease called the flower pox and used the natural chi of the Kunlun Mountains to suspend himself in stasis until a cure could be found. See, that's what I've never understood when they do like, I'll freeze myself. Well, who's going to unfreeze you?
Somebody.
Somebody. Eventually. Yeah. Process by... Someone will have to figure it out.
Find me.
Rumors say that he is still there. Obviously, they find him, but the territory surrounding him has been lost to the Hunduns for over 200 years. So that was a big pushback. Yang Guang was the male pilot of the Nine-Tailed Fox. That was theirs.
Yeah.
And so you can tell too, like, I should have explained this more, but the way it works is, why am I blanking right now? Like if their like chi levels aren't the same, the mech will like fold back into like its original form.
Oh, okay.
So as it like the more balanced they become, the more
it evolves out.
So so it's the classic like, Luke, you turn off your targeting computer. Whatever.
What are you doing?
But so if it folds back in on itself, they go, fuck, they're not matched and they're not syncing, essentially. And then lastly, the Heavenly Council is our mysterious and unseen gods of Huaxia. They have never been seen in person or recorded, but they provide humanity with the lost technology to rebuild society after the Hunduns destroyed civilization. Defeated Hundun husks are harvested and given as offerings to the Heavenly Council or reshaped into Chrysalises. The ruling sages take their orders from the Heavenly Council.
It's a really clever...
So tell me, now that we've finished the story, and what do you...
No, I loved it. I thought it was super interesting. It's a really clever way to use, because I think, like you said, if you've watched a mecha anime, you're kind of like, okay, like
boom, boom,
boom, boom, boom. I've got it. I really, it's a really clever way because it uses a bunch of different like tropes, but it but the fact that it's also doing it like a historical contest, it makes it feel like fresh and like it uses all the good ones, and it even has a good like twist, like that twist at the end. I didn't see that coming, actually. I didn't see that coming at all. I figured there would be some sort of twist with the aliens, but there's usually
we were aliens.
Aliens, or even like the Starship Troopers ones of like they actually think, or there's like
they're attacking because we're attacking, like kind of stuff.
Exactly. I figured there would be something like that, but I did not. The old "We're not on Earth." That's a really good one.
I like that one too. I can't think of another like mecha. I mean, I guess Gurren Lagann.
Gurren Lagann.
Because because he's like, we're keeping everyone on the ground to keep them safe. And like, I was evil the whole time, but I was never evil.
The spiral people are gonna come and.
But like I love we both love mecha anime, so I was like, this would be fun. I really love this book. I read it and I was like, this is
that was really good. That's really fun. I'm excited for part 2.
Yeah, no, I am too. And like I said, like a lot of people go like, oh, like a couple of stuff like, right, it's aggressively feminist or like, and it is, but at the same time, like it's about a girl who goes, no, they fucking used my sister and I'm gonna get revenge.
Yeah, no, it's.
No one said John Wick is being over the top.
No, exactly.
for a murdered dog and a car. 4 movies came out of that motherfucker.
Oh, a lot of dead people.
Just hunting Russian mobsters down like a psycho.
What's your all-time favorite mecha anime?
We've done like 5 episodes of Gundam already.
I know, but if you could because I know Gundam is like the overall like franchise, but if you had to pick like one.
That's a toughie. I really like. Oh, I'm such a sucker for just giant robots.
They're all good.
Power Rangers. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, by definition, no. Probably Gundam Wing, because Gundam Wing was the most like. It's what got me into mecha. Yeah. And it's a political story that really like you can kind of follow. Yeah. And things like that. So for you and your mecha anime, do you have a favorite? Because I know you've. Well,
I love me some Neon Genesis, but I probably say Code Geass actually.
Oh yes, I forget that it's technically considered an anime.
Yeah, no, it is a mecha. There's a lot of stuff that goes on, but at the core of it, it's mecha.
Fun fact: the Darling in the Franxx thing is very similar to like the way they sit in.
The way they sit, Code Geass really kind of. Yeah. It's funny too. Out of all the mecha animes that I've seen, granted I haven't seen a ton, but I've seen a decent amount. None of them really end all that happy.
No, it's always a metaphor.
It's always a metaphor for something else, and
for just war crimes.
Yeah.
And things like that. Yeah. Well, hopefully this book ends happy.
Yeah, I would love for. I hope it does too.
Oh, don't worry. As soon as it comes out, there will be another episode.
I'm very much looking forward to it.
Oh yes, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
No, I loved it.
I enjoyed telling the story. Yeah, it was fun. If you at home enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. It will be up. My releasing schedule will be Wednesdays will be the audio. Thursdays hopefully will be the the actual recording itself.
Videos of us.
Yeah, of our faces. Hopefully you don't hate us too much. But yeah. Don't forget, like and subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Good Pods.
Yes, sir.
Good Pods. And then, of course, like and subscribe on YouTube. Is it a requirement to say smash that like button?
We gotta smash that like button. Listen, we gotta and ding that little bell.
Ding the bell for notifications.
Smash that like button and don't leave a comment because we're not turning those off.
No, we want to hear your thoughts. It's hard. It's much like Empress Wu. I'm the king. We are the king.
Make your own podcast.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Zach.
Anytime.
And good night, everybody.